Hello and welcome to my favorite Vikki. I'm gonna read another journal. It's been like 25 years since the last time I read something from a journal. I actually don't remember what we read last. I remember it was something to do with clipping the cat's claws. Clip the cat's claws. So let me look for what it is. 20th of November 1996. That's like, what, a year or two? All was forgotten physically about yesterday, but I know not mentally. I was late for school. In science, we were using a bandmograph. That's how I've spelled it. I would love to say I could correct that now. I don't know. Or something like that. And then there's a picture of me with my hair standing up. Everyone started calling me Sonic. People also lit a bunsen burner by touching the mad thing. Good descriptor, Vikki. And slowly putting a finger over the top of the bunsen. Mental. Who writes mental? They lit the bunsen burner by touching the mad thing and slowly put a finger over the top of the bunsen. That's pure mental, man. Vikki. I had loads of fun at school. Oh, that's nice. At Pants all went well as well. I had fun. Oh, at Panto. I used to do local pantomime theatre. Panto all went well. Ciao. I drew a little picture of like a boat or something. I don't know. 21st of November 1996. It was horrid. I didn't check my teeth. I didn't check my teeth before. Hopefully there's nothing in them. 21st of November 1996. It was horrid. In modern studies, Mr. McGee was talking about nuclear weapons. Oh boy. I actually remember this. I don't need to read a journal about it. Thanks. It was okay until he got to the point where radiation came into it. It was horrid. I already said that, but I must have meant it. Then he started talking about how Russia have nuclear bombs. They still do. Pointing at us. I was so scared. When the bell went, I was petrified, obviously. I actually remember specifically sitting in that class imagining what it would be like if someone rushed in and was like, hey, a nuclear bomb I just launched. I could envision the country shooting the bombs as I sat in that class. That would be uncanny timing. But for a 13-year-old, it was logical. Probably not. It obviously didn't happen, but it was logical for me. In the dinner queue, I started to really think about it. Dinner queue is lunch line for Americanos. This made me burst into tears. Crying in school. Not a good look, Vikki. I had just gotten my roll. I wonder what was on my roll. When Mr. McKend came over to me and pulled me out of the queue. Roll, ticket, and all. That meant I hadn't paid for my food. I was just taken away. We sat for half an hour as I cried. I finally wrote down what was wrong. And then he let me go. And it was brutal. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to know about it. Didn't want to know. Wait, is this both Mr. McKend? No, Mr. McGee. Mr. McGee was the modern studies teacher. Mr. McKend was my guidance counselor. Guidance teacher, I think America calls it a counselor. Guidance teacher, Mr. McKend. At the time, in my head, you know, he was the bad guy. But now that I think about it, it was actually really nice of him to come and get me and save me from crying in front of everybody and having a meltdown. Ooh, getting teary. I feel like I've spoken about him before, maybe, and how he would always like excuse Lola and I for being late, and always kind of like look out for us in a way. But you know, in my head, it was always this like person of authority who was trying to just like trick me or like punish me or something. But rereading this, it makes me realize that he was one of those teachers you kind of see on TV that's like trying to help, I guess. Like he stopped me from, I don't know, like at the time it was a huge inconvenience to me because I'm like, I want to sit here and eat my lunch and just cry to myself. But had I just sat in the lunchroom and cried, I would have gotten made fun of. So he saved me, he protected me, and that was actually really nice of him. And I actually remember the last time I ever saw him, our school shut down. This school, Victoria Drive, it shut down 1997, I want to say. And we got off a bus. I remember we'd had like a little party thing a few days before, and a goodbye and a farewell. And it was like right before the summer. And I think we got off of a bus after a trip. And I remember he was just standing outside the car park. And he did actually look kind of sad and solemn and was like, all right, we'll see you later. And sentimental me now would have been bawling my eyes out. But, you know, a 13-year-old, you're like, or at that time, what, 14 maybe now? I took it for granted and didn't really understand the emotional moment, I guess, behind it. Because, you know, as a kid, it's like, yeah, okay, teacher, I'll see you later. See you soon. Like, you don't really imagine the magnitude. All you're really caring about is playing with your friends. Well, not playing, but hanging out. All right, so Mr. McKend came over to me and pulled me out of the queue. Can't believe it. Anyway. So I finally wrote down what was wrong. And so he wants to see me on Monday for 5 minutes. Ugh. So in RE, we watched Fiddler on the Roof. I don't remember that. In Spanish, we mucked around. In art, I had loads of fun. In maths, we went over homework. In techie, we made clocks. At the library meeting after school, Claire, Lindsay, and I all started arguing to Mr. Hassett, he's the librarian, about the magazine name. I guess we were doing a magazine. He gave us a lame excuse, so he left for a while. He must have had enough of us. The three of us talked and joked with the fifth years. Roseanne told us how they thought he was creepy. It's funny how rumors like that start. He was like a totally normal guy, and it's like some older person goes, he's creepy, and I'm like, yeah, I guess he is. Do you think I'm cool now? Do you think I'm cool now because I also think he's creepy? Me, Lindsay, and Claire then put our passes on his desk. I guess we were resigning. We were just waiting for L. I don't know. I put like a letter with a circle around it. I remember there was a class that was like that shorthand if you don't want to bother writing out a word. But it only works if you know what word you were trying to write in the first place. He came back, so Claire grabbed the passes and we panicked. We then put the passes where the coats sit. We bolted out. Then I ran all the way to the bus stop because I thought he was going to chase us. John was here when I got home. That was my mum's friend, John. Didn't like that man very much. I watched TV most of tonight. Then I got chased to bed. Gosh, is that the time? I gotta go. I need to be at school on time because Mr. Gibson wanted to see Lola and I because we are always late. But I didn't go see him because I was with Mr. McKend. Lola said to him it was because of John. That's really random. I haven't told Mum about today because she would just laugh and tell her pals and have a good laugh. I haven't even told her about... I did another and did another initial with a circle around it yet. Don't know what the code is. See ya. All right, well that was a long one. Take care of yourself and each other. Read your childhood diaries. Reflect on your life. I don't know. No advice. Don't spill tea on your hand. It really hurts. Happy Friday!